barnstormer, I'm sure. The Italians have been presented on the left. Enrico Antinoro, Riccardo Carmina, Oliver Emmerich, Stefano Lanciotti and Francesco Negro join Giulio Paroli. And the Germans on the right-hand side, Sven Berger, Wolf Nettingsmeyer, Hans Prickdor, Paul Priest, Jörg Schotter and Hartmut Rasser, and this really is something special because the Germans have come through the pool stages ranked number 1, and they've looked really strong as a unit, really behind each other. But the Italians, well, technically and tactically, they look
and
superb.
by reputation, the 50-plus championship, and the Italian was strongly fancied to win, but at least he picked up a silver medal. In the 60-plus bracket, Giulio Paroli has won the world title. He's won the European title. I think he's won the world title at 2 or 3 times. He even won the European foil title a few years back. And they've also got at the 70-plus bracket Riccardo, who is world champion now and was world champion last year, so he's twice world champion. So the Italians on paper are a class above the Germans, but that's, when it comes to nerves, when it comes to, can you beat your opponent twice over, anything can happen.
Well, and also that a good set of individuals doesn't necessarily form a good team. You see teams that perhaps you don't fancy coming through the tournament because as a unit they operate well together and they G each other up.
That's true, but what's interesting about the Italians is they're not all prima donnas. They were warming up in the very opening today, all together. Standing on one leg was one of the exercises they were all doing, which I had a photograph of. And they're a very good unit.
Yeah.
And Giulio Paroli, who's a friend of mine, organised the European Championships last year. Sorry, the World Championships last year.
In Livorno, yeah.
In Livorno. And he is really the central figure in the Italian team, making sure that they don't say, oh, we've got such a run of victories. We're going to take nothing for granted and work together to be a unit. So the Germans are a good surprise package, but the Italians aren't overconfident. They're nicely not arrogant about their great traditions, and they work for each other.
Very strong favourites then, I think we can all agree, and I think there might be a little bit of added juice in the tank for Paroli himself, having got knocked out by his teammate in the quarterfinals of the individual.
He likes getting winners' medals.
Yeah, well, don't all Italian fencers?
Well, you just listen to them. The Italian team and their supporters, I think, probably make more noise than any other team in the championships.
Well, it's time to get things underway here for this gold medal match. The last of your sabre events here at the 2019 World Veterans Fencing Championships. And I get to say it again, Richard. Fasten your seatbelts. It's sabre time.
So it's the over 70 category starting things off. The world champion from Italy on the left and the German on the right, who was knocked out in the last 8.
In fact, we're lucky enough to have the order for this match here. The Cat C fencers go up first, and then it's the A fencers, the youngest members of the team, followed by the B fencers.
Riccardo Carmina is a physical training coach in Italy. He says he mainly coaches basketball players.
Yeah, I had heard that, and he is very athletic. Remember, this is C category fencers over the age of 70. Actually, when he comes forward, his technique is very, very tight, but when his arm goes, it really does.
His mistiming, that's... No, he timed it nicely. timed it nicely, that counter-attack. He looked worried to begin with.
Well, a strong start from the Italians is the last thing that the Germans wanted, but just what we expected, and it looks like it's going to be Enrico Antonoro coming on for Italy, and that is Paul Pries there. The Germans really needed this good start, didn't they?
They did. I mean, if you get a good start, then you do generally get your teammates on a run. They feel more confident, and in sabre that can make a huge difference. If you're behindhand, you think, well, do I do defence just to be on the safe side, and then you can start leaking hits.
Yep. And they've got the glitches from last night sneaking back in on the scoreboard. An accidental reset of the scoring. So one of our officials, I think that's Mehmet Al-Bakri actually, who's part of the director technique here.
I don't know this German fencer, but I was watching him in the semi-final and was very impressed by his technique. He's very fast and got a really good range of moves. And certainly during the pause in the World Championships last year, the British sabre team were awarded by the Italians a special Good Sportsmanship Award. And I had to go forward and collect it. And Giulia Paroli, who was organising the competition, said, "This is my gift to you, Richard. I wanted to say that we've always enjoyed fencing you."
Very nice. You continue to grow as a community in the fencing world, and I know that some people have decided not to come to this championships for reasons of safety and security. I can tell you for one thing, it's been perfectly safe and perfectly secure.
Absolutely.
I went for a long walk yesterday from the hotel, and if you read all the advice, you shouldn't do that, and it was perfectly fine and very friendly and no problems at all. But as a community, you're really growing. There's a European veterans circuit now, a really important part of our community as well.
Well, there are 699 competitors in these championships.
You've given away my lie. I've been saying there's 700, but okay, 699, you're right.
Well, one of the Egyptian fencers hurt his arm and couldn't compete, so maybe your number was right. I was talking to him yesterday and I said, fence left-handed, he's right-handed normally. And he said, all right, I'll do that, but it's too late to enter.
Oh no, what a shame. We get back underway here. It is in fact Ras and Lanciotti up for this, having the scoreboard rolled on accidentally through that second fight, which is why they had to come back on and fix it. But just going back to that, and I know you want to talk about the fencing, but early stages here, the community of veterans fencing is growing, and these World Championships year on year are so impressive. And now you have podium piece with big lighting. This is the same standard as
it's been
the World
wonderfully
Cups.
done. In the European Championships in May, there were 1,400 entries, and some fencers were fencing more than one weapon.
Yep.
There were 3 weapons, so you could fence 3 weapons.
Yes.
And the range of countries, I think, is it 70 countries? You'll know how many there are in this championship.
47 in
47 this time.
in
Europeans, I think, even more.
Yep.
So it's nice to see it really, really growing.
And worldwide as well. It's not just in the sort of the European heartland, traditional heartland of fencing. It's around the world. This Japanese team is absolutely fantastic. I've seen teams from South America here that I don't think I've seen at senior level. There's a team from Bolivia here. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely. In fact, the British were cursing, in a sense, what's been happening in the world, because Hong Kong and Korea and China are putting in first-class foil teams now, making it more difficult for the British to grab a place in the Tokyo Olympics. So that's good for fencing, but not good for British fencing.
No, the sport is certainly growing globally, and you see it at veterans. And the other thing that I have to say is that the almost to a man, I should say, almost to a fencer, everybody here has been so happy that this championships is being treated as, even they said to me, it's being treated like a proper World Championship. I said, what are you talking about? It is a proper World Championship. It's my first time here, so maybe I'm blessed with having seen something that looks like a regular senior and junior World Championships.
Well, they have World Cups. There's a World Cup foil event in Cairo. So the Egyptians are getting to know the sport even better. And at the London Olympics, they had a foilist in the men's foil who won the silver medal with the most wonderful foil technique.
Alauddin Abu El Qasim, yeah. He was here the other day. Yeah, I mean, the sport definitely growing in some African countries, and I know that the FIE have a global program of development as well. So
but it's very important for the FIE to make it global, because there's always a question of, well, fencing, how many countries really do it, and there's pressure on the Olympic Committee to say, well, maybe we should boot fencing out. It's not the most popular of sports. But the FIE, to guard against that, have made it one of their priorities to make sure that a lot of previously unknown fencing countries adopt the sport, realise that there is a call for it, an interest for it in their country, and they're getting results. In London, the gold medal in the épée was won by a Venezuelan, uniquely, and Egypt winning a silver medal, and Norway winning a medal in the épée, men's
silver
épée.
medal as well. Bartosz Piasecki and Ruben Lombardo. Those fencers that you're talking about. And Abu El Qasim taking the first African fencing Olympic medal.
Absolutely,
it's really important for the sport, and like you say. But the FIA have made great strides in making the sport tick all the boxes for the IOC, making both parity between men and women, and spreading the sport around the globe. And now, for the first time in Tokyo, fencing will have the full complement of medals, teams and individual tournaments.
Very important. I would have to say, to put a plug in for a friend of mine, Hilary Philbin, who's in charge of the fencing at the London Olympics.
Never heard of her.
She oversaw fencing becoming a wonderful visual, exciting spectacle. And whether it was showing slow motion with the blades more like fishing hooks going at slow motion speed, or the whole razzmatazz of the fencing event, made it more watchable, I thought, than any Olympics previously.
Became the cult sport for the host broadcast of the BBC, fencing. 200,000 people watching live on BBC Two one day, the second biggest channel in the United Kingdom for fencing. And yes, hello El Presidente. She did a great job at the London Olympics, and continues to work behind the scenes in the world of fencing as well. Here we have another technical delay. Scoreboard issues were our problem yesterday. Gave Bill and I a chance to talk, and now it gives you and I a chance to talk.
It's one of the problems, delays in the equipment, and it's one of the things which the FIE are always fighting to improve. And it may be that the wires you see attaching the fences to the electric equipment will maybe by the next Olympics be a thing of the past, and you'll see the fences with a different system for reckoning hits, but that hasn't happened yet, so you get this kind of problem.
It's an interesting point you say that, because you look at the other side of it, and did you know that at the last two Olympics, the sport that has the most screens, the most lights, and the most technical gadgetry, I'm going to refer to it, is fencing? More screens than any other venue, and such a small venue when you compare it to things like rowing and athletics. Fencing has more screens because the audience want to be able to see all four pieces at the same time. If they happen to be sitting on one side of the venue and they want to watch the piece diagonally opposite, they can see it because there are a couple of big screens that are within their line of sight. So technology has its pros and its cons.
Mind you, I like the fact that VAR is such a contentious issue in football, because it means that people will then take what happens in fencing a bit more sympathetically.
Yes, that's a good point. Well, we're back underway finally here at a great second leg again, 5-1 to the Italians, and now it is Antinoro who has been waiting in the wings to come on and then had to wait on the piste, but he's clearly ready for it. 3 in a row from him. The Germans have got to find a way back into this at some point in the next 1.5 matches, otherwise it's all going to run away like it did in the bronze medal match.
Well, the German here, when Germany fenced America in the semi-final, America was well ahead, and the German here, who I know well, had his second fight, having lost the first fight, and he transformed the whole match by winning something like 10-3 or 10-4. but not this time.
No. 15-3 at the halfway stage, no points at all. And I think, again, it's probably the professionalism and the attention to detail from the Italians. They may well have seen that fight and said, right, we need to put a nail in this one straight away. You had a similar situation, though, in your match where you came on and had that amazing run. And you put the British team back in with a chance.
There was one hit which would have continued my run, and the referee said that I had a point in line and then took it away from the target, which would then take away my right of way. And of course I feel that the referee went blind at that moment. He's probably totally right. But
it's very difficult to be completely objective from inside your mask. Even I remember that sometimes there's a bit of blurred vision when you have a mask on. Just stepping in, bringing the arm back.
That's right, and Carmina is so good at timing the counter-attack.
Block out from the German left-hander, though. Oh, now why has he stopped this? Teammates are shouting, so someone has called to Carmina to call halt for the match, but I think that's still going to be a yellow card for stopping the fight unnecessarily.
Well, it's interesting, in the semi-final, the one with America and Germany, a German put up his hand and asked for the bout to be stopped, and he did just too late. So the American hit him, and the German said, but he obviously wasn't trying to defend himself. And the referee said, sorry, it's when I say stop, not when you say stop. The Americans hit stands.
Well, they've been reset to the centre of the piece. No hits been given. So whatever has happened on the Italian side, it's persuaded the referee to start that action again. So was it a quick start, an early start from the German? That's
the only thing that could justify it.
Parry riposte, really nice compound riposte as well.
Absolutely, because the German went up to parry and chose the wrong line to defend.
Classy hit from Carmina, but Prechtel comes back out.
That was a beautiful hit. Carmina's attack was short, but before the German could make his riposte, Carmina did a beat cut.
Going into the closed line there, Carmina, that time. Richard, I can't help but remind people that these are athletes over the age of 70. I don't think if we told people that they were over the age of 70 with their mask on, you'd never know.
No.
Stunning stuff.
No. A class above.
Really, really
beautiful
great.
timed actions.
The Germans scored 2 in their first fight, and since then have only managed 2 more hits in the following 3 matches. It's sometimes you feel for a team that's in this situation.
Last year was the European Team Championships, and the British beat the Germans to take a bronze medal. So the Germans came 4th just in the Western European competition, and here they are fighting for the gold medal. So they may very well feel, goodness, just to get into the final is achievement enough.
Yeah, I can hear you on that. And but there is that thing, isn't there? If you get so far, you're within touching distance.
Yeah.
But they're being outclassed, as you put it quite rightly here.
And the Germans are guessing parries, and the Italians are too good to fall for that.
Bit half-hearted there on that one as well.
Well, it's a bit of it's a lucky hit, but when you're winning, you get the luck follows you.
So Lanciotti is on for the penultimate leg. These are the Category A fencers, the children of the team.
The children at 50 plus, yes. They show how it goes. Langerotti, when he was fencing for the individual gold, was constantly being hit by the Americans' counterattacks. This time, it's the other way around. He's getting good counterattacks in. But not that time.
Just a slow start from Ras there, just opening up and letting the Italian close the distance. but this gap is, well, insurmountable. It would be the comeback of all comebacks in all sports if the Germans were to take this match. Blade picked up for me by Ras, but into the bottom third, so defaults to a parry riposte.
Yes, if you hit too low, even if it's you trying to do a beat action, it counts as a parry.
And I can say this to you, Richard, as a foilist, that is completely baffling to me. If you beat the blade, it's your attack.
Well, foil is a mystery, of course.
I suppose I did ask for that.
The fact that foilists now are almost scratching their back when they start an attack. The normal rules and delicacy of foil play of the past has disappeared, and people run forward, as I say, scratching back of their heads, launch an attack, which they do with amazing speed and fantastic accuracy. So it's often, you know, Errol Flynn-like in its excitement, but it's a world away from classical fencing at foil in the past.
Yeah, there's lots of debate about.
Not that I want to be rude about foil.
No. I did invite you here, so I suppose it's my fault. No, but there is a lot of debate about, and there always has been for as long as I've fenced. Certainly, this debate about purists versus development, and and in development I mean in inverted commas. But the current ethos in
you've just seen the first counterpost in this match from the German. The German choosing the right line to parry.
Well, it is Paul Priest back on. Yeah, the debate for development and purity in fencing will, I think, remain forever and a day. Video.
I rather like the rather wide German giving a very wide video signal.
Well, and he was very determined in that action as well to get the video. His face said, "I will not stand for anything else." It stands for Antonoro.
He's trying to get that counter-attack, and unlike the Italians, he's just mistiming it. Can't understand it. Well, we've got to go with the referee.
Oh, beautiful defence from Antonoro.
Lovely distance.
And also the body movement. He's stepping backwards and throwing his body forward to try and get the German to finish.
Yep.
Really clever stuff.
Get the German to commit.
Counter riposte is no. Antonoro definitely picked up the blade there.
Yep, but he went, again, too far down the German's blade. So Price deserved the hit.
And a yellow card given, and I think that was for what you mentioned earlier on, Richard, that he took his mask off, and they felt that was one step too far.
Either that or dissent. Might have been dissent.
Shows how much it means.
Yeah, we'll have to do dissent 23 more times on the run for it to be a real issue.
Attack going through.
The German knew where it was going. He just didn't get the right parry. Not properly formed.
Execution letting him down on that case, but there, a single light. Italy are the world champions of the men's team sabre event here at the 2019 World Veterans Fencing Championships.
Antonoro is an architect, so he's the architect of victory, you can say.
Beautifully said. It has been a fabulous performance from the Italians. I don't want to take anything away from the Germans.
Look at that team spirit I was talking about.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's quite easy to have team spirit when you've just won the gold. But that is typical of the Italians.
But the performance, it was so professional. It was tactically better, technically better. But again, I turn to the silver medalists and say, well done to them. They have fought so well today, the Germans.
Yep. I think they'll, maybe not now, but tomorrow they'll wake up very happy.
I think maybe even in a couple of hours they may be celebrating somewhere.
Well, they may be waking up tomorrow with a headache.
Yes, this is also true. I think there's been a few people here waking up with headaches, but it is Italy that will have the most to celebrate this evening. They have taken the world title. The two teams show their respect to each other.
The Italians shout "Bacchi, Bacchi, Bacchi" in their team cheers. I've got no idea what that means, if anything.
Well, they're making the most of this, the Germans. There's smiles all around here. Obviously, the Italians will be the happier, but I think already the Germans have said, wow, what a day we've had.
Yeah. When we fenced the Americans, when we, at the end of the match, cheered them, I had to rouse the British team to cheer, and I said, 3 cheers for Donald Trump's great Americans. And luckily, the American teams laughed.
I'm adding nothing more to that. We steer clear of political opinion on the FIE channel, but I appreciate the humour of